Hi guys, welcome back to our podcast with your host Jimena. Hi guys, and welcome back to Since Yesterday with your hosts Sabella.
Oh,
Oh,
Jimena.
yes, there she is.
Yeah.
As you can tell, we are not contigo. We are apart. I'm currently in my own home, and she's also in her own home.
Yeah, we decided to do things a little bit differently today because we wanted to try out virtually doing these episodes.
Yeah.
So we're going to try our best to make this the best that we can. I mean, think of it like a FaceTime, but just a little bit more
Literally.
polished because it's going on the internet. But like, it's literally just like a FaceTime, and it's kind of like how we talk to each other while we're on FaceTime either way. So join us on our FaceTime.
Please, and let's all take a moment from my background. I tried to match Jimena. Different photos, but same vibes. Same vibes.
And it looks so pretty too. Like, I think
Thank
you
you.
chose different pictures, but I feel like they fit the vibe.
If you guys can't tell, like Bratz is like really big for me. Not because of my own doing. Jimena introduced it to me, and she's Yasmin, and I'm Sasha.
Wait, I introduced Bratz to you?
I don't know, like in the way that I don't know, like I just became a little bit more, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like I'm sure I've seen them in the past, but now I'm just like, yeah, like I just love their vibe, like I just love their look. You know?
I was gonna say, I think they're so your vibe. I feel like they're everybody's
you.
vibe in the sense that they're so diverse, and each girl kind of
Yeah.
has like a different style. So the Bratz have always just been like a go-to. I feel like they've just always been a go-to for girls every time.
Yeah,
Like, just
I mean, I
for-
love them. Or like Winks
Winks
Club,
Wink Club,
Wing Club.
Winks Club.
Wings Club, yes. I don't actually genuinely know nothing about that, but I do know that our girl Zara Larson just came out with a collab.
Oh,
That's
did she?
kind of like, she did. She has like her own Winks now. Like,
Her own like Winx character. That's
yeah.
so cute.
She's like the second person to have done it. Don't ask me who's the first. Don't.
Right. Okay.
Like-
Before anybody gets any ideas.
Right. Very minimal research was done on this. But yes, and then I have Spider-Man, but like blinged the fuck out. But yeah, I just wanted to point those two out. Those are like my favorite.
I also want to say that this is going to be a little bit hard for me because if you want to see a behind the scenes of everything that went into doing this, like we will be posting that on our behind the scenes TikTok account since yesterday BTS.
Yeah.
I'm currently take a video of yours. I'm currently looking at a stack of pillows and just a camera. Sabella is like on my left hand side, so I can't see her as I'm talking, or else it would have been a mess.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna follow her voice. Like I'm gonna treat it as like more of a phone call.
Yeah. Oh, that was lightning. Kind of same, but I have camera, and then on my chair down here, I have Jimena, like my laptop, and we're on a Zoom. If you can't tell,
Yeah.
so if you see me going like this, that's because I'm very tempted to look. Can you hear the thunder?
No, I can't.
Oh my god! Thank God for these microphones.
I think we
Girl,
don't hear
is it
smoking.
raining over there?
It looks like the sun is shining, but
Okay.
it was a little bit like gloomy when I came back.
Oh no, girl! It has been really down over here on my side of the area. She's like up north. I'm down south. So I don't know why, but the south has
It's
just
different.
been.
Any recaps? Anything you would like to share with the class today
Oh.
about?
We're starting
updates?
with me. What has happened this week for Sabella? Well, I did. Oh, it's been like a whole week since I've been at your house, but honestly, I haven't really changed much about what life has been. I finished one of the K dramas that I started there, Dynamite Kiss. When I was at your house, I finished 2, so that was delicious. And
You were
I
telling me
finished.
about that.
Yeah, I rekindled my love for K dramas. It's like on and off relationship. I wouldn't say it's toxic. I think it's like a healthy balance. So
Right.
I finished my 3rd one. I've like been applying to jobs, kind of interviewing here and there. I went back to the gym finally yesterday. Thank God. I was feeling
Beautiful.
fat. Yeah, I was feeling fat. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. And what about you?
I feel like
I stayed looking at the camera.
well, what about you? I feel like this has been a very transitional time in my life. I feel like everything feels a lot more adult this week for some reason. I started a new job and I feel like life, for some reason, and it's not even just the job because I've had a job before post college.
Right.
My earphones keep slipping. But I feel like this time of my life just feels very uncomfortable in the sense that
Mm,
it's like you're not growing unless you're uncomfortable. It's
yeah.
like that. So I just feel like I'm entering this phase in my life where everything just feels adult. And
Right.
I'm trying to like grasp that and I'm trying to understand it and go with it. So I've been feeling a little bit weird. I've been feeling a little bit of discomfort,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to like also think about how these things are necessary in life and you need to feel these things in order to continue to grow. So I don't know. It's been a
Absolutely.
heavy week for me. It's been a very heavy week for
Right.
me.
I mean, I understand we're both on the same boat, and no matter how hard we want to fight it, like time keeps going and we keep getting older. And you know what's really not easy? Like, I won't speak for you, but for me, it's just like it's really not easy when I go on these social medias. And listen, I'm not saying like I'm comparing myself to other people or anything. However, comment and like I'm not dumb. Like I can't like not acknowledge when people are like making progress in their lives and they're stepping into some sort of like marriage, like dead ass. Like people are like getting married or they're getting a full-time offer. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm not comparing them. I know I have my own journey and my own road, but it's like shit, like me next, but like in like not in an unhealthy way. It's just like it's like that's life. I'm just
It's like
saying,
you're waiting for your turn.
yeah,
I agree. And I feel like because I mean like even just doing this podcast, like we're kind of chasing a very unconventional, I would say, like path
yeah.
that I feel like everybody around us is not even interested in chasing. They're not really doing that.
Nobody has a
Um,
podcast.
right, right. But like not even anything remotely like it, I feel
Yeah,
like in the sense of like they're not putting themselves out there for like
yeah,
the public and like wanting to, be known in some capacity. So I feel like it's different and I feel like it's hard to not compare yourself because you're like, what should I be doing? And like, when do you call it realistic? Like, when do you say to yourself, like, am I being realistic about my life? And
yeah,
I think that's a really hard thing to juggle with, but we have to remember that we're still young. And like, if we don't do it now, we might spend the rest of our lives regretting what could have been and
yeah,
thinking about what could have been. So honestly, I feel like right now we feel uncomfortable, but I think it's
mhm,
because it's different. But I think years from now, we're going to look back and just be
yeah,
grateful that we gave ourselves this time to do things a little bit differently than others.
yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that keeps me from not comparing myself or like not finding joy in other people's success is just like knowing that that's not even what I want. Like that accomplishment is big for you, and I'm so happy for you. But that's not an accomplishment that I want to accomplish. Like getting engaged, getting married, that's just like not something that I want right now. And I feel like sometimes what's that saying? Like comparison is the thief of joy. Like I
Yeah.
never, even if somebody did start a podcast and they reached some sort of level like past us and succeeded, there's just like no reason to compare what we have to theirs. You know what I don't know. That's just like something that
Yeah.
I use to like comfort myself.
But
Somebody
it's
else's
so hard.
accomplishments doesn't have to diminish, the work that I'm putting in, or the passions or dreams that I have and aspirations that I have. So a lot of the times, honestly, like there'll be that like 1 second of and I'm still at home, but then I'm just like, okay, but my time's gonna come, and hopefully somebody else is gonna be happy for me. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah. And I think like I literally was struggling with the same exact thing and like the same exact thoughts. Like
Yeah.
I like we're really gonna get like honest and vulnerable. Like I was like I've spent this past week just crying because I'm just like,
Oh.
where do I want to be? Like what do I want to do? Like what are my like goals and am I
Mhm.
like reaching towards that? And I think it's so hard to not compare yourself to other people and
Yeah.
just be like like there's certain things like we want to achieve and I'm like looking at others and I'm like, why does it feel like it was so much easier for them? And like why can't I
Mhm.
be the chosen one? Like why can't I be the
Right.
one that like gets picked for all
Yeah.
like these other things and like it's like very hard to be in the space that we're in the sense that like our age and like I guess like be surrounded by people that are so successful in the things that they're doing,
Yeah.
and us feeling less than because we're like, are we reaching that? Like, am I feeling like I'm
Yeah.
reaching that? I guess I'm just growing. I guess.
Right. I think we're just finding ourselves.
We really
In
are.
like the hardest way.
I feel like this is what your 20s is supposed to be, and I feel like maybe everybody goes through this, and it's just like
Yeah.
really
No.
hard for us to know that because we only have each other to talk about it.
Yeah. Even the ones that, have jobs and stuff, I'm sure they're struggling, but struggling with money. It's like when someone's like, I'd rather be crying and depressed in a mansion than in like this one bedroom apartment. But to each his own. To each his
Yeah.
own. It's just
Well, we'll get there. We'll get where we want to be.
we really will, and it's sooner than later, might I add. But yeah.
The sooner the better. Let me go get the bowls,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can start with our bowls. Sorry, I'm really gonna try to not look at her the entire time.
No, girl, I'm the demons I'm fighting.
Rock,
paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, we're both rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Sabella will be canceled, and I will be drawing for her. I'm gonna draw it for Sabella.
Okay, tell me, what am I getting canceled for?
Tell me when to stop.
Oh, okay, stop.
You are getting canceled for thinking being rich is unproblematic.
Oh my god, yes! I know specifically that I put this in there. Being rich is unproblematic. Hello? It's
hard.
unproblematic. Let me elaborate, okay? With many things in life, things that would make me want to be a hater, such as, seeing rich people or seeing Nepo babies and stuff, I really try to put myself, not necessarily in their shoes, but it's like, what if I happen to have been a Nepo baby? Or what if my parents would have been wealthy, right? And I think to myself, why should I get hated on? Now, let me say this. I think obviously there's like levels to how people behave of when they're like wealthy and like how they treat the privileges that they're just naturally born into or they come into when they become wealthy. And I just feel like sometimes, and mind you, when I say this statement, take out the trillionaires, the billionaires, it does not really apply to them. Okay, I'm just talking about regular, wealthy people, like wealthy, affluent families. Okay, I think that I don't know, I never understood the hate on someone just for being wealthy. Like, I went to a school and a lot of the people were like, well off, wealthy people. And to me, I just like, I would never hate on you just for being wealthy. Now, if you took that and were just like a jerk to people and like aren't understanding of people's situations, if you're like talking with a friend and you're like, why don't you have this? Like, I just don't understand, like that, like everybody has that, like, and you're like bullying people for those, like, those are reasons to hate on somebody. It's like a character flaw. That's like kind of like where I see it is. I don't think we should hate on rich people simply for being rich. We should hate on them for their character and how they condone themselves and how they, I don't know, like treat the people around them despite being wealthy. You know what I mean? Can you understand where I'm from?
Yeah, I think like you saying that, like when it becomes problematic, it's kind of when they're looking at other people and they're like, why don't you have this? You don't have that. And I think that's kind of like the main reason why there's this dislike for rich people is that usually if they are rich, it comes with this privilege and this arrogance and spoiled type of behavior that could come up with these kids, but like it could also just be like depending on their family and how they were raised and like the type of values that they have. So I think you're right, like in itself, like is it problematic when it's like regular people that are just have more money? Like, no, I think it's really just about the way that they're raised and they grow up. But like I feel like you can't ignore these things. Like, as good of a person as you can be, like you can't really like ignore these things because you are just going to feel better than other people because you have money. And I feel like that's kind of inevitable with some people. So I'm like, you could be a nice person, but at the same time, like you might have those little moments of like, oh, I see. Like, I see the type of person you are sometimes, like, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, adding on to that, like that's a really good point. Is that you are kind of your surrounding, so it's not like when you're wealthy, the people you primarily grow up around most likely are those that are also of the same stature or more, right? Just like how like me growing up, a lot of my close friends are like people, that can relate to me, that that have immigrant parents. Like you just are naturally gravitated to the people that are like you, and that's just like in life. But I think one thing that is commendable is like I never have an expectation of a rich person to like have an understanding or know what it's like to be like, like a normal person that's not making that much money. However, when they can acknowledge that and want to get to know your perspective and be understanding of that, that's like when I can give credit to them. Like because I just like how a rich person shouldn't expect me to know how to use the different types of forks they have like at a fancy dinner. Like I'm not gonna know. Like I don't know those etiquettes. I didn't grow up in that, right? Like you shouldn't have this expectation of me. I'm not gonna have the same expectation of you, but my expectation is that you're decent enough to understand that we do live two different lives, that you are in some level of privilege, and you're willing to like hear me out, or like not even hear me out. Like, there's no reason to hear me out. Just like understand that we come from different worlds, and that's okay. It doesn't inherently make either better than the other.
Would you ever date somebody that is
Yes,
like way richer than you and like grew up in that?
of course.
Don't you
Because
feel like their parents might have expectations of you as a girlfriend that might be a little bit unrealistic in that sense?
okay, because my thing, I'm so glad you asked this because like in a lot of the K dramas that I be watching, and not to like bring in K dramas for reference, but I'm gonna bring it in. I love the ones where it's like somebody's clearly much wealthier and more affluent than the other person, and I love seeing the dynamic. And usually it's like the parents of the more affluent child doesn't want them to date the other person because of their lack of status, I guess. And I've always thought about this. I'm like, hey, like, what if I were to fall in love with someone that comes from a wealthy family? And honestly, I have no problem with it. I have no problem, like learning about your life, how you grew up, what the expectations are. But at the same time, though, I will not tolerate disrespect about my upbringing or how I view things. I'm more than happy to like go to a fancy dinner with you and like behave accordingly. But I'm not going to like completely change myself and like my ways of living for you either.
You know how in K dramas there's always like a mother that's
That
like
pays
trying to
off.
pay off the girl? Would you ever accept the money?
No, I would
Really?
not. What? I'm not accepting the money. If the love is real, if the love is real. But I will say, like, it also is really dependent on how much the man is fighting for me and like how much he really loves me. Because if he, and this honestly goes for a man from any family, if you allow disrespect from your family towards me, truly there is no reason for us to be together. And another thing I'm never willing to do, I'm never willing to be with a man where I'm bringing friction into his family. That's just like not gonna work for me. Like I have to get along with your parents. Your parents have to get along. Like I'm not going
But
to bring any sort of distance between you and your parents. I don't want you to leave your parents for me. Like that's like like my big thing is like everybody has to like each other. I'm not willing to be the one that's like, ugh, my evil step, like my evil mother-in-law. Like no, I'm not doing it. One thing for me is I'm not willing to be with a man, even if he is willing to cut off his family. I'm not willing to be with a man if his family is not in support. Like I don't know. Like I can't do it. Like if we have children, like I can't do the whole. I just can't do it. Do you feel what I'm saying?
yeah, I understand what you're saying. That's honestly a fair
Like we can
thing.
have disagreements, of course. Like nobody is kiki kaka.
Nobody will get along perfectly
Yeah,
every time.
obviously, yeah. But at the end
But
of the day, there has to be some sort, like a level of like love for family.
right. You have to be at least like you have to bottom line like respect each other and respect the fact like the parents will have to respect the fact that you are this person's partner and like I would say you are a family now. So like
Yeah.
they even have to love you.
That's
And
what
if
I'm
they don't
saying.
love you, I find that it will be harder from then on to.
I'm just not doing it. I'm not gonna be with you. Like, and this breaks my heart. Like, it really does. But I'm walking away. Like, the man could be like, I'm in love with you. I'm willing to cut off my family. No, that part, no, the resentment that could, no, you're not cutting off your
What
family
if
because of me.
what if he's willing to, like, would you rather him say he's willing to do that or say like, nah, you can go?
No, no, no. I'm
Like
just
my
going
family
about.
doesn't like you. No, I know. I'm
Oh,
asking you though, like, would you rather he say like, I'm going to cut off my family for you and like stand up for you?
yeah.
Or would you say like you would, or would you rather him just be like, nah, like my family doesn't like you, so
Well,
I don't think it's
obviously,
gonna work
like,
out.
I'm gonna go with the latter. Like, I don't want a man to be like, yeah, my mommy says she doesn't like you, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna break up with you. Obviously, if
Okay.
that happens, that's just like, yeah, I do. I don't even
You're
want to be with
gonna
you anyway. You're a mommy's boy. But I would have rather him, like, ego wise, like, oh, you're willing to fight for me, like, you really do love me. It's unfortunate, but I can't break you away from your family.
you're gonna do a little Gabriella, gotta go my own way, just
I gotta
like
go. Let me elaborate though. Like, if the family was already broken before I got there, I mean, it's a broken family. Like,
it's not your doing. It's not your
I'm
doing.
not taking you away from anything. It's just like if you come from a loving family that doesn't like me or love me, then we can't be together. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
it's your turn.
fair opinions, fair views.
Mama, there's a storm happening outside of my window right now.
I don't hear anything. Okay. I'm gonna get started. I'm also sick as a dog, so please forgive my voice.
The way your angle keeps changing.
My angle keeps changing.
Oh, I mean, like, I don't know. It's okay. It's okay,
Okay.
sweetie.
I think this was one I put in, so I don't know how entertained you will be by this, but we'll go into it.
I'll try my best not to be distracted by the storm happening outside.
Sister will not stop taking my things when I'm out of the house. My sister, 18, literally will not stop taking my stuff. I, 24, work full time and am in school. Literally every day when I'm not home, she goes into my room and looks through literally every drawer, shelf, anywhere I could hide anything and takes it. It started with clothes and then she started stealing any drinks I had and dap pens. If I forget anything at home, I come back and it's gone. Bought a brand new dab pen and I forgot it at home over the weekend, came home. The whole thing was used and left in my room. I can't leave any drinks in the fridge overnight because she takes it. Any new makeup slash skincare products I buy, she takes. Yesterday, I got home from work and all my bed sheets were upstairs on the floor in front of the laundry machine. She said she was cleaning my room for me. It was already clean and the sheets were brand new. Went to my bedroom, there was some huge stain on my bed and everything ripped out of my drawers and whole vanity ripped apart, so I'm pretty sure she was going through all my stuff. Spilled something on my bed and didn't realize I'd be home as soon as I was. I have a lock on my door and she figured out how to open it still. It's starting to drive me crazy. Unless I bring it with me or keep it in my car, it's gone before I have a chance to use it or wear it.
Oh.
And she posted this on Reddit. I don't know if she was asking for, I mean, the post didn't have,
Is this
like what should I do?
I think
I think it's like a what should I do? And like I guess it's like a question like
Yeah.
who's right, who's wrong.
Go ahead.
This is so funny. I feel like I kind of went through this thing with my younger sister. I'm 23, she's 18, so it's kind of like that age difference that they have. And I realized my little sister kept taking all of my clothes and I would like try and like look for a top I just bought. And then I would like look through my closet and I was like, where the hell is it? I would drive myself crazy. And I was like, oh my God, like I lost it. Like it's not here. It's not with me. Like it's gone forever. And then come to find out, I go to her room. She has like 3 of my shirts, 2 of my shorts, like things that I lost like years ago that she took, like just with her. And I find that to be like the most infuriating thing ever.
Keeping it safe.
I think the worst part too was like when you talk to your sibling and you're like, hey, can you please not do that? Or hey, can I have this back? Not even just hey, you can't borrow these things anymore. You just call them and ask them like, hey, can I have this back? And they give you attitude. That's like the worst. My little sister, I remember she took a pair of shorts from me and I call her. I'm like driving home and I call her because I used to leave every single weekend and every single time like things would leave. Like things were gone. And I call her one time and I call her one time. I'm like, hey, can you please give me back my shorts? And she was like, shut the F up and hung up on me. I was like, oh, this little girl is evil. She is so evil. But in this case, I feel like it sucks when people take your stuff
Yeah.
when you work hard to buy it and get it. Like when it's your own money and you're like trying so hard to buy these things, like the least I feel like the thing that should be done is ask. Just ask me and tell me what you're taking, just so I know that you have it, and that's it.
I mean, yes, I completely understand, but I think, you know, a bright spot for you could be that she's not destroying your room or taking your drinks. Because that's a certain level of disrespect that that sister has for that other sister. Because what do you mean you were actively destroying my room in the process of you taking my stuff too?
I would go insane. And you what do you mean you ruined my bed sheets? Like, what does that mean? Like, what did you do on my bed that you ruined my bed sheets? And like bringing drinks in there while you're looking through my stuff, using brand new products, like that's another level. Like my sister never crossed that line. Like that's another level of just like disrespect.
Yeah.
Also, what are you doing to lock it? What do you mean that she got into it? Like, can we buy a different doorknob? Can we buy a different doorknob?
I think what she has is what I also have. I'm not sure if you know. Okay, so basically it locks on the inside, and then on the outside there's just like a hole. Like there's a little hole, and you can use that to unlock it. So that's what I do personally, because I have younger siblings as well. Not like they're much younger, so they're not like stealing my clothes, but they will touch my stuff. Oh, and I just something about people touching my stuff. Like, it just really irks me. It's just especially when they're children. Like I just know you're not even going to take care of it, so I can't even trust you to not make it sticky, messy, whatever. So I basically lock it from the inside, and then from the outside I can unlock it with a bobby pin, like the small bobby pins, which I think that's what she has. Because if it's like a lock that you have that you open with a key, that's much harder. So I think that's what she has to get, is like a physical key lock, so that only a lock will unlock it.
I think that's my advice. Are we trying a different doorknob? You work full time. Can we purchase a different doorknob and install it ourselves?
Can we slap her? Can we get her arrested for vandalism? Can we
can we go to mom? Can we go to mom?
I think we're past HR right now, and we really got to take some legal action, because obviously she does not give the slightest fuck. Like and also really concerned about her finishing a whole dab pen in one day.
Right, like what is that all about? What is that all about? Is she home all day? Like what is going on?
At school? Like that's
is it summer?
Even then, leave the house. I don't know,
but I think we need to start taking greater measures and change that doorknob.
Yeah.
And like, if she starts crawling through the windows, like, I don't know, you have a bigger problem on your hands.
Yeah, you gotta move out. I just do not understand. You have the patience of Saint or Mother Mary, because truly the way I blow up on my younger siblings for even attempting to get in, like, genuinely.
Some just don't care. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like they reach an age where they don't care. They'll just look at you like, okay.
You gotta get angry. You gotta reach Hulk status. I don't think you're being angry enough, and that's why she's repeating it, because there has been no consequences for her actions in the past.
Okay, well, the public, please let us know your thoughts and opinions on that, and if you have a sibling that does the same thing, and what should this Redditor do in order to solve this problem? I don't know.
I think fighting is really the solution, but we can start with a lock. We can start with a proper locked door. What?
Yes, true.
I'm trying to be on your level.
Agree.
Like, I'm just
no, I agree.
Level. Yeah, but I
agree. Okay, let's get into some topics for today. What are we talking about?
We're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about. Oh my god! I think I just had a. God, I might have a stroke. Next, today we're gonna talk about Tradwives, but
all the good stuff.
But yes, shall we first get started with something that I really want for myself in life? To be a Tradwife.
You.
Right.
You want that.
I want that. JK. No, I don't want that. Honestly, I do not. And
I'm like, that sounds like your biggest fear.
Yeah, no, Maddie has known who she was since a very young age, and I've always known that whatever, I mean, I obviously didn't know the term Tradwife or traditional wife, but whatever that was, I did not want. And also, FYI, trad is just short for traditional. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Oh.
What did you think it meant, like trade?
No,
like, we
I
trade
just thought it
wives?
meant Tradwife.
which is interesting. It's so
Yeah.
funny because I feel like I've been seeing so much trad wife content in the
Yes.
past 2 years, and I feel like because there's been so many different types of feminism, now we're kind of getting back into like the, we were kind of like in a woke era of
Mhm.
time, which personally I love. Like personally, I just love that.
He does not like to sleep, guys, please.
But I think we reached a point in which like, like it's going up and down, and now there's like women that are speaking out more than ever before about their right to be just a wife, how they just want to be a wife and want to be part of a family where a man leads and they just cook and clean and take care of the children, and they're like, and what's wrong with that? What is wrong with that?
Truly.
So
I mean, I think for me, before, well, obviously, I didn't even know that trad was short for traditional. So I think let's begin with really defining what is a trad wife. Because as I was researching this, I also discovered that there's trad influencers, like trad wife influencers. So to begin with,
Yeah.
trad wife, okay, in short, it's just women that want to stick to gender norms and gender roles when it comes to, like their marriage and managing the house. They believe that, they are in charge of taking care of the home, taking care of the children, serving their husband. And that's truly what it is. And some have expanded to like, you have to look really good, or like there's a certain look to it. But in essence, it's just sticking to gender roles and gender norms.
traditional.
Yeah.
Traditional.
There really isn't like a look. There isn't like you have to be in this religion, And I'm not making this up. This is like what a woman that would consider herself a trad wife has said. She's like, you don't have to be a certain race. You don't have to be a certain religion. You don't have to have a certain look. It's just that in your marriage, if you adhere to gender roles, gender norms.
But is there a traditional look though online? Like, is there a traditional look to the traditional way of life that when you see a trad wife content? Like, is there a certain
They
look
do, yeah,
to them?
They do have a certain look to them, and that's like built, I think, in my opinion, upon the expansion of like you do have to keep up your looks, because in most of the other videos that I've seen, they're like, I'm a trad wife. These are the things I have to do to be as a trad wife. It's like you have to keep up your looks. And this one video, honestly, like really, really rattled my tail. It irritated me when she said, "You have to keep up your looks because men are visual." What? I'm visual. Okay, I'm visual too. You keep
I care.
Because before I get to what irritated me about that, I also want to touch upon trad wife influencers. Trad wife influencers just keep up the looks for their audience, for the following. They aren't actually trad wives in real life within their actual marriage. And what's funny about that is even though they do make content for that, they wake up, they make the sour bread homemade, they go into their garden, everything is fresh, everything's for their husband. But ironically enough, they're the breadwinner of their house most of the time because they're making all this content, they're making, all these brand collaborations, they're making the most amount of money. So those aren't real trad wives. They're just trad wife influencers, role playing.
And that I'm so glad you said that though, because I think when there's trad wife content, there is this sort of performance that they're putting on for other people. And I think it could be dangerous because they're kind of teaching these like younger girls like, oh my God, look at how aspirational my life is, like being a trad wife. But you're selling them a life which they cannot live or be part of because you're not living a trad wife. Like a trad wife life that you're posting online is not realistic to an 18-year-old girl that's watching you from a small town who is watching your content and now wants to become that because she's watching you. Like, I feel like there's this unfairness of the way you portray your life because you're not actually living that life.
Yeah. Because, I mean, yes, you can be a trad wife and, live that affluent life that influencers portray if you get married to the right man, because obviously, like, the whole point is that you stay at home, you don't have a job. So if you're like an 18-year-old in rural Ohio and you get married to another 18-year-old in rural Ohio that has a blue-collar job, you just can't expect that your life is going to be what that influencer's life is. You can't expect to be in that fancy house. You can't have the expectation to have these fancy silverwares that, you know, they're making their food front with, et cetera, because they're using the budget of an influencer, like just like a straight up influencer just cosplaying Tradwife. And I think what we've also seen is like this influx of young girls, very impressionable young girls, wanting and actively becoming Tradwives. When, in my opinion, that's just not the move. That's just not the move. I'm never
Yeah.
a fan of marrying young, even if you're marrying young to a person that's your age. But that's my personal opinion. But outside of my personal opinion, on TikTok, there's multiple stories of women that have actively done it. And they, you know, looking back, they're like, I didn't even know myself. I still don't know myself. I'm still discovering myself. Now I have this child. I'm not even married anymore. I didn't get my degree. Like, a lot of setbacks now that they're having to deal with because they were sold this story. It doesn't even have
This
to be
fairy
on
tale.
social media. Just in life, everybody's like, "Oh, you're a girl. Like, you should get married. You should be a wife. You should be a mother." And it's like, but why aren't we teaching girls? You should grow up. You should have a career. You should, you know, learn who you are, what you want, your dislikes are. Like, and you
Yeah.
can still be a mom. Like, it does not end at 25. That's like not, you know.
Yeah. And you said you were watching a video and
Mhm.
somebody said they said that you have to keep up appearances for men. Or what
For your
were they
husband.
saying?
Yeah, she
Oh,
was
for
like,
your husband.
you have to
Like
keep up
you
your
have to do
appearance.
your makeup every day for them and like when they come
Yes.
home. Oh, okay.
You have to keep up your appearance. You know, you have to be healthy and whatever, you know, because your husband's visual. I'm visual too. Like, if you're gonna, like, I'm never a fan of that whole don't get fat. Like, unless it's something that you want. Like, this is a standard for you. But it's just like, why are we putting? It's just so hard to be a woman even when
Yeah.
you're not married. Like, it's already hard enough because especially in today's day and age, like, you're so aware of your body. And so when you're hearing like, oh, keep up your looks because your husband, it's just like, even when you're married, like, shit, like, you're supposed to love me throughout whenever.
Right.
However, now I will say there's some marriages where it's like both parties are like, yeah, okay, we, you know, let's keep up, you know,
But it's
our
like,
look. It's a
are
mutual.
men telling each other this much? How much like you have to keep up your appearance? Like some men don't even wash their face, and like
their
it.
ass crack.
I'm just wondering, like we tell each other as women, "Hey, do
Yeah.
this, keep up your appearance here." Like I'm going to give you some tips on how to keep your man. How come men aren't telling each other, "Here's how to keep your woman. Here's how to like be like look this way." So it's like, why are we doing that if they don't feel the need to be doing that?
But I mean, yeah, that's so that point really irked me. But that's just because like I'm woke AF. And another thing that I really do not appreciate, and listen, you can take this however you want to. I'm not trying to come off insensitive, but I've always been very poignant about my opinions when it comes to like marriage and etc. Just like, I think I'm just like so turned off by it because for the longest time it's just been painted as the biggest priorities in a marriage are always going to be the husband and the children. Like, and that's one of my biggest reasons for I'm just like, ew, WT, like, me, I matter. I'm the most important person to myself. Like, what do you mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's always just been painted as like, you just get lost, you know? And for me, Tradwife like exacerbates that even more. And I'm not saying like don't get married. Obviously, there's healthy ways of doing it, but to me, what I'm picking up from like my research and like from people's stories is just like when you become dependent on a man, like it's just never good. It's just never good. And then we're using words like you have to serve, you have to submit. Who? Me?
It's scary. It's a lot of scary language out there. I was watching this TikTok and they call her the princess treatment lady, I think. And I think it's interesting because everybody kind of like recreates the cadence like in which she talks, the cadence in which she talks and her mannerisms while she's talking. So like usually her videos, especially the one that went viral, includes her kind of like sticking out her like face a little bit and kind of like emphasizing a collarbone. Kind of like this to like kind of make herself small and skinny, I think is like what people are saying. But Princess Treatment Lady makes Tradwife content, and she made a video that was particularly interesting and that kind of goes into what you were saying about this like being submissive and like you know looking at men as the leaders. She did a video I was trying to find the original video, but for some reason I can only find stitching. So I think like the original video was kind of like tips on how to be more feminine, or like, what do I do to be feminine when me and my husband go out?
Yeah.
So she starts off the video saying, so first things first, my husband will always drop me off at the front door. He will pull up in front of the restaurant. He'll, tell me to go get down. I'll get down, go to the restaurant while he go parks the car. Okay. But then she says, if the hostess talks to you and says how many people are waiting to sit down, or if there's a reservation, you don't answer. She said, you don't answer. Or if you have to answer, you can simply say, my husband is coming and he has all the information. Okay. So she's already kind of setting the tone of this, like, I'm not talking to these people. And not because I think they're less than, simply because it's not princess-like to do that. It's not feminine for you to talk to others. Right. Like, your husband can handle that. Your husband handles the logistics. You just are there to have dinner. Yeah. So then she says, when we sit down at the restaurants, if the waiter asks you, what are you ordering? You look over to your husband. The waiter should always only talk to the husband. He shouldn't be exchanging words with you. Why? Because you're feminine. You're not going to exude all this. You're not going to be like exuding energy. Or energy. She also just point blank, period, energy. She's like, you're not going to do too much. You're a lady. You don't want to do too much. You don't want to talk too much. You don't want to overspeak. You don't want to overstep. You're there. Your husband's got it. You look over at him. He can talk to the waiter. And then she's like, when you're sitting at this restaurant, you're not laughing loudly. No. You're captivating the room the way a male does. Only men can captivate a room like that. You are just there to have a conversation with your husband. You keep your voice to a minimum, and you keep the conversations, short. You don't talk too much. You don't do too much. And that was just like her video. That was like the essence of her video. Very just like, you're not doing too much. Your husband's got it. He handles all the logistics. Almost like you're a child who doesn't know how to speak. Like you're a literal baby, and you're just looking at your parent to be like, what am I getting, mom? Like, what am I ordering? Yeah. And I think that a lot of people were obviously very put off by this. I think like this waitress even said like, I actually need you to talk, or else I'm gonna think this is a hostage situation, because that is so terrifying to just sit there and be like, oh, okay. Yeah. But I think it's like a very weird thing that is so common between all of these, like all this content of just like, you have to be submissive, and a man leads in every way, shape, and form that he can. And they're sitting in front of this camera, which is another thing that gets me. It's like, you're making Tradwife content about the fact that you don't want to leave, about the fact that you don't want to make choices for yourself, as you're sitting here in front of me, having a platform, having a career, telling people what to do. Like, if you want to stay home so bad, then stay home and don't talk to a camera, because why are you here trying to tell women not to have careers, not to talk too much, not to do too much, while you're sitting in front of a camera talking and having a career?
And you know what it is like, it's like, you have that choice, and I can't even really be mad at it. I mean, does it make sense to me? Not in the slightest. Like, nothing that she said. The only thing that made sense to me was that her husband was driving. Fair enough. Yes, I'm right there with you. He pays the bill. I'm right there with you. Yes. Yeah. Everything else, I just cannot fathom it. But just because I cannot fathom it, it doesn't necessarily make it wrong. You can live this life. You can have this choice. That's what women fought for. Like, everybody has a right to do whatever. What you're doing doesn't necessarily harm me in any way. That's just the life you've chosen. But and it feels kind of contradictory to be like, oh, why are you getting on the internet spreading this? Because, they can say the same thing about, what we're doing, but it like inherently, like it does more harm than really it does. And
it's not the same. You're sitting there talking about how you don't want to captivate a room because it's not ladylike, while you're here talking to millions of people online. Yeah. Like, you're being as loud as you possibly could be, actually. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why are we sitting here? There is a Jubilee video. I think it was a Jubilee video of feminist fight against like Tradwives, or just like conservative wives. And they're sitting there and they're talking about the fact that they don't think women should be allowed to vote. Yeah. Women should not be allowed to vote. And these feminists are telling these Tradwives, and they're telling them, I can't believe you're sitting here in front of me using your voice to tell me you don't want it. You're using your voice to tell me that you don't want it. You're here. And like the things that these women were saying, they were like, again, going against like women's rights, women's votes, about like how, you know, like it's too much to be sitting up there and fighting for all of these causes. Like it has nothing to do with you. Let men be men. Let men be men and be the ones to fight these fights. Like it has nothing to do with us. They should be running the country. They should be running businesses. Our jobs is to be at home. And I think, again, that always sticks with me. Like the women saying, I can't believe you're sitting here using your voice to tell me you don't want it.
Yeah. Traveling here.
Right.
Everything that the ideal life that you think we should currently be in, you wouldn't be able to do. Like, trust, if they were back in the day where we didn't have any right, they would be in the forefront of fighting for it. You know, like, truly, like, I just feel like there's a difference between wanting to be a stay-at-home mother, take care of your children, and in a way, like, degrading yourself, if that makes sense. Like, you feeling like you can't go to a restaurant and order? Why?
Yeah, you're degrading yourself. You're not a child. You're not a child. Like, and it really does get to me. It really does. Because I think that you're right. Like, we live in a society in which we should have freedom of choice. And, like, that's just the reality. And, like, I don't want to take that away because, like, how would we dictate what's right and what's wrong? But I think, like, there's more that goes into that. And there's even like, more about relationships. I think, like, this type of content can be dangerous because although, you know, that in itself, you wanting to be a wife, you wanting to be a mother, like, that's not dangerous in itself. But when you start curating your content for this, like, extreme tradwife aesthetic, and you start to, like, you know, it kind of becomes like a loop or a pipeline into something that could be far more dangerous and can lead to far more dangerous ideologies that include women not having rights.
Yeah. And
which is like, we progressed so far just to regress.
Right. I think what it is also is like, I feel like tradwife influencers, I feel, because I don't want to sit here and be like, traditional wives are necessarily holding us back. I don't know. I don't want to be like tradwife bad. What I do feel is bad is tradwife influencers, because I do think there's dramatics added to it. Because do I think that there's traditional wives out there that they're very much so, like, independent and can go to a restaurant and order and don't have these weird standards that some people are spewing online? Like, yeah. So, you know, let us make it clear, or at least from my side, let me make clear that I'm not necessarily saying that all tradwives are bad, but to the tradwives that are getting online and putting forth these weird standards of what it means to be a tradwife, how you should act, even to, like, just be considered feminine, to get princess treatment. Like, if you don't do this, then, like, you know, why should a man respect you? Why should a man think you are, you know, worthy of any sort of whatever he can give to you? That's crazy to me.
I will agree.
That's crazy.
Like, if I'm watching a stay-at-home wife's, like, day in the life, like, I'm watching that. Like, you know, she's like, I got to do this. I got to pick up my kids. I got to, like, you know, it could be normal. It could be very normal. Like, yes, that's what my mom did. Like, I get it. But I think, like, giving tips like that, it becomes dangerous. And I'm also starting to, like, grapple with the fact that, like, there are things that can even spew into, like, things that we could be doing that kind of reinforces that. So, for example, I feel like even just being, like, the type to be like, my boyfriend always has to drive to me. I feel like I used to be like that, especially with, like, my family. Like, my family is very much like, your husband has to do this, your boyfriend has to come here to you all the time, and, like, even if you're able to, like, you can't do that. Like, you're a lady, like, that's a man's thing to do. And I'm starting to kind of, like, think, like, but why? Like, I'm not a child. Like, I can drive. I know how to drive. I have my license. Like, if it makes sense for me to drive to him, like, why wouldn't I be doing that? So it's like, it's little things like that when you start to say, that's a man's role. That's a man's role to do. And you start to say, that's your job as a woman.
I mean, I think obviously it's dependent on every relationship. There's going to be some relationships that adhere to gender norms and gender roles more than others. There's going to be ones that, you know, are like, not at all.
I think I'm just saying, like, even if you think that, I feel like we should ask ourselves why. Like, why?
My explanation is just going to be because that's just what a man does. Because,
but, like, what? Why? But like, why?
But because to me, for like examples, right? When I was much younger, I will say, as the older I've gotten, the less awoke I've probably gotten in like terms of these types of things where it's like I want my man to drive every single time or like something like that. You know what I mean? When I was younger, like I was genuinely like 50-50. I was like, I do not care. That man's not above me. That man's not below me. We are equals. But then it's like now I'm growing up and I'm like sometimes like I do want like there's certain gender norms and roles that I do kind of want to adhere to just because I want to. And the reason is just going to be just because that's how it's been and that's how it is and that's how I like it.
But like, why has it been like that? I don't know. I feel like for me, like I understand that, and I understand that there's relationships like that, and I'm not saying that like in every facet of my relationship, I'm like thinking of like, oh, like this and that. Like, you know, I think it's just like we should be asking ourselves like, why do we feel like that's a man's role, and like, are we being backwards in thinking that way? Like, I feel like there could be more to explore in that area.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think I see what you're saying, but again, it's just truly like, yeah, you can ask yourself, why do I expect this of him? But, and if your reason is just because, like, that's kind of what my expectations are of my man. And like, that's an okay enough explanation to me. Because, and he can have some expectations of me. Mind you, I'm joking.
Right.
Let's like, as a girl, as a woman, I'm like, okay, like I want my man to like, you know, like lead me in the sense that if we're walking on a road, like I want you to grab my hand and physically lead me. I'm not sat here being like, oh, I want a man that leads, like whatever. But I'm like, or I want him to like grab my waist and like move me from the left side of the road to the right, like stuff like that. Like that's what I want from my man. Or I want you to pay for the dinner. It's like, that's just what I want from my man. You like, but why? Why can't you pay? It's because I don't want to pay. Like,
well, I'm not saying that. I just feel like I would encourage more thought into why that is. Like, not because I think it's wrong or like there's a right or wrong. I just feel like there's more to explore there about how like this system has infiltrated into our lives and what we expect out of relationships. And I feel like it's always like as you grow and as you get into relationships, I think it's always important to just really dig deep and think, why do I think that? And if, you know, like these expectations aren't met every time, how much of a problem will it be for me?
okay.
Like, if he doesn't pay for dinner one time, right? And let's say that, or like he doesn't pick you up and he's like, babe, can you just like drive to me? Like, what would be your response?
But like, why? Like, is there like a valid reason why you can't pick me up?
He's just like, hey, like,
You don't want to drive.
no. He's like, hey, like, it's kind of far for me. I just got off of work. Like, do you mind just driving to me?
So that means like I'm having to drive that far. Like it's so far from you. That means it's also far from me.
No, well, it could be that, or it could just be like, hey, I just got off of work. I'm tired. Do you just want to come?
Honestly, yeah, like I probably would drive to him because like I want to see my man and he still wants to see me. Like I'm just like that. Like
yeah, and that's like, so
I'm gonna do what serves me best. If I want to see you and that means I have to drive to you, baby, I'm in the car already. Like I'm on my way.
And, you know, there might be a time in which, like, because we're always, like, hearing these things, and it goes far beyond Tradwife content. It goes into, like, girlfriend tips and, like, relationship tips. And, like, this is what a man should do. And if he wanted to, right? We have all of these things that could be true. And we have a lot of advice on TikTok. And I'm like, do you think, like, there's this, like, almost expectation of you to have these expectations for him? And will you feel like you failed because you don't uphold them every time?
I think one of the worst things, the worst types of content that can be made is like, this is how your man should be acting, or things, that one trend where it's like, things that my high maintenance boyfriend does that would drive your low maintenance boyfriend crazy.
Yeah.
Like, because there's just like, and then that's where people probably start these arguments, or they now are like, wait, if her boyfriend's doing that, why isn't mine doing that? You know what I mean? And you forget what your relationship is. Your circumstances are not their circumstances. What he's able to provide for her isn't necessarily always what your boyfriend can provide for you, but you also have to think what your boyfriend does, other boyfriends aren't doing. But when you see these videos, it's so easy to like forget what is so good in your relationship and kind of just focus on what's not there when you've never really even thought about this thing that was never there. It's kind of the same thing when like you don't notice anything about yourself and then somebody points it out and you're like, I'm never gonna forget that now. Like
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
not like okay, that's something new. So I think just for me, I don't really care. I have my own expectations because of my own expectations that I've just curated throughout life. Maybe some of them are inspired from the TV shows, but oh fucking well. Listen, at the same time, like I'm also aware enough to understand whatever like point I am in my life and whatever point my partner is in life, that's where my expectations come in. Like I
Yeah.
see where you're at in life. I know you can meet these expectations. Those are what my expectations are, you
Yeah.
know?
And there's always going to be this line of, um, okay, am I disrespecting myself by not holding this expectations?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Or am I being unfair and not considering the situation that we're in? Right?
Yeah.
There's always going to be that back and forth. And I think obviously people online sometimes can make it better, they can make it worse. And they think women, I love that women's expectations have risen more in recent times.
Right.
I think men could get away with a lot before. And I think like women are starting to be like, wait, no. Because if
Yeah.
I'm doing this for you and you have no reason to not be doing it for me, then like I'm gonna have this expectation. Like I if you can't meet me halfway, that's fine. But like maybe you're not the person for me.
Mm. I want to ask, since you're in a relationship, have you ever been impacted by like videos or like outside voices about,
Oh yeah.
you know, like you kind of
Yeah.
knew? Okay, elaborate.
Yeah, I feel like I really went through that this like past summer. And I also started to think more about like driving and like he used to drive to me all the time because I didn't have a license. Like I didn't have anything to like do that with. And I started to think like, "Oh my god, like should I have him drive me everywhere instead of me driving to him or like meeting him halfway sometimes? Like is that wrong of me the fact that I'm meeting him halfway because I'm hearing about all these girls that are like I don't drive. When I'm with my man, he's driving the entire time."
Yeah.
So I really started to internalize those things and I'm like, "Wait, like am I doing wrong by meeting him halfway?"
Yeah.
And then I realized I had to grow up from that because I was like, I am not a child. I
Yeah.
am literally not a child. I can drive. I have my car. I literally have a car. I learned how to drive. He taught me how to drive. Like, why am I doing myself a disservice and our relationship a disservice by like making it more complicated than it should be? Like, I feel like I was also kind of being backwards too by being like, a man should always drive. But like, why? Like, why did I think that? And like, it's not like I wanted it. I was like fine with driving to him too. So I was just like realizing I was internalizing a lot of the things people said online and applying
Yeah.
it to a situation that it just didn't fit.
And I'm glad that you are now aware. You're
I
just
think
aware.
but I think you're right. It's like all about like figuring out your own relationship and like what works for you guys and what's fair. And again, like it's all about energy too. Like as long as you're not the only one making an effort to see them
Yeah.
every time, then you know, like I think that's fine. But if you find yourself being the one to constantly go to them, you find yourself being the one that always has to compromise, that always has to miss things for the other person, that's when you have to start questioning like what you're doing it, why you're doing that.
Yeah. And I think you know, relationship content can be very beneficial. So I don't want it to be like, I don't want to make I don't want you to take my statement and be like, ugh, she's one. Because I think there's a lot that you can learn from other people's stories, especially,
Yeah.
you know, when they're talking about bad situations that they've been in and like how they got out of it and how, you know, people can become aware of like, oh, wait, that is really bad. And that's kind of like what I'm in. Like, and this is how I can get out of it. I think relationship content can be really beneficial, but it's just like sometimes when it's content curated for comparison, that's when I think it can get a little bit, you know, a little bit dangerous, a little bit, you know, just not like beneficial at all times because we're only human. And also when you're a girl, like it's so easy to compare, especially when it comes to relationships and be like, but I want
Do you watch a lot of relationship
Yeah.
content?
I mean, if it pops up, I'll be sad. Mine are mainly just like horror stories. There's like, let me tell you about this crazy ex. So
Yeah.
through
Well,
that, I've learned how to steer clear of certain behavior. It's been such an eye-opening and great conversation, wouldn't you say?
yeah, I feel like there's so much to consider, and I feel like life is so hard.
Life is
Why do
hard.
we have to consider all of these things? Human beings are so complex, they're so complicated, and systems are very complex and complicated. So, I guess all to say, women's rights.
Women's rights for the W. And
Yeah.
this is it. We hope to see you guys next week. Well, hopefully you liked our new setup. We'll get better over time, but we will catch you on the next episode. Much love.
Yes. Make sure to follow and subscribe.
Yes.